Welcome to Recurring Insight. It's the beginning of your upkeep, so it's time for another episode. I'm trying something different this time around. I'll be doing a combo guide that takes an in-depth look at a combo. The combo for this episode revolves around the Greedy Goblin himself. Since he was revealed, his power was immediately clear along with his combo potential. First up is Cloudstone Curio. To begin, pick a creature card, any creature card. For this example, I'm choosing Memnite. Pay 3 for Cloudstone Curio, then cast Dockside. This creates 2 triggers. First, Dockside needs to create at least 3 treasures. Second, Cloudstone lets you return Memnite to your hand. Recast Memnite, which lets you return Dockside to your hand. Recast Dockside, and you'll end up netting 1 mana for each iteration. In summary, you need at least 5 mana plus the cost of the other creature to get it started, and at least 3 mana plus the cost of the creature to go mana positive. The only real advantage this has over the other lines is that it's available in mono red. This means that low colored decks can run it. Anya and Grenzo are clear outlets, but Markov can generate infinite vampires provided the other creature is a vampire. Of all these, Anya and Grenzo have the most synergy with the combo. When deciding whether or not to run this combo, make sure that your commander is an outlet of some form, and you need to be running black or blue so you can tutor for Curio. However, while Curio is a dead card, relative to the other combos that have dead cards, the startup cost and required treasures on ETB is relatively low, so I think this is underrated. Also, it dodges Curse Totem, which is huge. Next up, we have the first combo I saw with Dockside, the Big Angry Cat. To start, pay 2 for Dockside. You need to generate at least 5 treasures to go mana positive. Then, pay for Temur Sabertooth. Sacrifice 2 treasures to activate Temur Sabertooth, which returns Dockside to your hand. Sacrifice 2 treasures to recast Dockside, and you'll net 1 mana each iteration. In summary, you need 6 mana to get this going and 5 to keep it going. This combo is seeing less and less play due to the lack of versatility of Temur Sabertooth outside of the combo turn. Additionally, it's not overly efficient, so I would only consider running this if you don't have access to black or white. While I would emphasize that it's at its best when you've got an outlet in the command zone, Gruul does have a limited selection of efficient combos. Baron is another one that was initially paired with Dockside. Start by paying 3 for Baron, then 2 for Dockside. Dockside needs to generate at least 6 treasures. Pay 2 to activate Baron, sacrificing a 3rd treasure as an additional cost, return Dockside to your hand, and then recast Dockside. This will net you 1 mana. In summary, you need 5 to get it going and 6 to keep it going. This is a reverse of the Sabertooth lines, and in most situations I support this. You can consistently see 6 artifacts or enchantments on the field at any given time. Running this, you want to be running green for the creature tutors. Additionally, if you're a proactive deck that has access to white and black, you shouldn't run this as you have access to better options. I thought that I was, well, dead, but it looks like it's returned to the battlefield. To start, pay 6 for Deadeye, then pay 2 for Dockside. Dockside needs to generate at least 3 treasures. Pay 2 to activate Deadeye, flickering Dockside to net 1 mana. It costs 8 mana to start and 3 treasures off the ETB to keep it going. The main issue is the startup cost, but that's not really as much of an issue as it seems. Dockside will typically make more than 3 treasures, so you can use that to offset the cost of Deadeye. That being said, this fits best into a mid-range deck that also has access to green or black for creature tutors. However, I'd have a hard time putting it into any of my decks because if you're in the colors, you likely have access to other better combos. Here we've got a niche one. You can't really run this outside of Animar. To start, ideally you have to have at least 3 counters on Animar. This goes up to 4 after you cast Dockside, which generates at least 4 treasures. Then cast Curiona, which returns Dockside to your hand. Cast Fire Exchange Metamorph to enter as a copy of Curiona, which will return both of them to your hand, netting 1 mana. While with Animar you need 3 to start it and 4 treasures to keep it going, this becomes 11 and 12 without Animar. Additionally, each card has synergy with Animar. What I'm essentially saying is, don't run this outside of Animar. Seriously. Another combo that is really commander dependent is Dockside with a mutating creature and a bounce spell. For this example, we'll use Vadrock and Chain of Vapor. Starting with Chain of Vapor in the graveyard, cast Dockside, generating at least 7 treasures. Mutate Vadrock onto Dockside, triggering Vadrock. Use the ability to recast Chain of Vapor, returning the pile to your hand. This nets you 1 mana each iteration. Outside of a deck helmed by Vadrock, I probably wouldn't run this. Although bounce spells are very common, it would still be a 3-card combo that is relatively inefficient compared to what else is available. And Izzet deck would probably be the one exception. The bounce spells can serve as an outlet. You can draw your deck or mill people out. I also want to point out Snap, which decreases the amount of mana required. As the final niche combo, we've got Aether Adept in a deck helmed by Inala. Inala can either be in the command zone or on the battlefield. Cast Dockside, generating at least 6 treasures, then cast Aether Adept, and pay 1 to make a copy of it. This puts 2 triggers on the stack, returning Dockside and the actual Aether Adept to your hand. While you aren't mana positive, you net a hasty 2/2 each iteration. Again, I wouldn't run outside of Inala because it wouldn't work outside of Inala. Corpse Dance is seeing a surge in popularity as it combos with a sack outlet. Pay 2 for Dockside, generating at least 6 treasures. Cast your sack outlet and sack Dockside to it. Then cast Corpse Dance, paying the buyback cost. This will net you 1 mana each iteration. The advantage of this combo is that the cards have use outside of the combo turn. The startup cost is low at 3, and 6 treasures off the ETB isn't asking too much. It's at its best in relatively proactive decks, which have synergy with either Sacrifice or Recursion. If you don't have that kind of synergy, it does dilute your card pool. Because Corpse Dance uses the graveyard, it can use other finishers, like Razaketh and Blood Artist, that the other combos don't have access to. Since Emil was released, it's kind of taken over as one of the best combo pieces with Dockside. Pay 2 for Dockside, generating at least 4 treasures. Pay 4 for Emil, then pay 3 to activate Emil. This nets you 1 mana each iteration. The startup cost is 6 and you need 4 treasures to keep it going. This is the lowest required ETB for the startup cost. Honestly, if you're in the colors and you have an outlet in the command zone, you can confidently run this. Not much else to say about this. Moving on to the outlets, there are 2 kinds. Other creatures that have an ETB and infinite mana outlets. Typically though, the commanders are outlets themselves, so they don't need to run suboptimal cards. In higher colored decks, typically only Eternal Witness and Finale make the cut. There we go. Thanks so much for watching, I hope the video was helpful. Dockside is a really fun card and is a powerful combo piece. Let me know in the comments if you'd like to see more combo guides like this. If you enjoyed the video, please like, share, and subscribe. I really appreciate you watching, and I'll see you at the beginning of the next upkeep for another episode of Recurring Insight.